Hi, I'm Patrick Glazier. I'm McKinley Advisors Chief Practice Officer. I'm here today with Kevin Watkins, who is the Chief of Membership at AIA, the American Institute of Architects. Kevin is here to offer some of his insights into the membership function at AIA and to discuss a few of the insights that McKinley has recently developed through its membership research report. Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks for having me, Patrick.
Kevin, one of the themes that the membership research report developed was to clearly define the value proposition of membership for membership organizations. Can you tell us a little bit of insight about how AIA articulates its own value perspective to current members?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. The AIA, we are one of the professional associations that has a really strong designation, and that designation has really helped us retain a lot of members and, of course, recruit. But for a long period of time, AIA has been really focused on really just leaning into that designation as, one of the core reasons, or if not the only reason, to be a member. And so over the last few years, we've kind of walked back from that. Of course, still propping up the designation, but also really trying our best to communicate all the other things that members get from the AIA. If that is our chapter network, 205 strong chapters that provide that, rank and file member, the real experience of the AIA. So really trying to prop that up, propping up all of our education, all of the involvement opportunities as well. That has really helped us as we try to communicate more value, but also better communicating what the AIA does behind the scenes. If that is our advocacy efforts, if that's our professional practice efforts, really trying to make architects and firms more prosperous and really being outright with that. And so we've been doing that as well. And so over the last 2 to 3 years, we've had incredible membership recruitment years. The last two being record-breaking, renewing, and also recruiting over 10,000 new members each year. And so, really just trying to do that, and we've seen real results from that.
Yeah, that kind of growth is a real symbol that you do have a strong value proposition, right? That you're getting that right. I've oftentimes found that, or at least my way of thinking about it, is that membership for associations, uh, it has to be something that really fits into the lives of your member. It has to be really moving the needle for them. That organizations that struggle a little bit with that value proposition maybe just haven't found what that is. Is that how you think about it as well?
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. Over the last 2 years, we tried to tell more stories about our members as well. And so, one of our efforts that we started maybe in the last 18 months is this Future Focus series, and it really tells the stories of diverse architects or diverse design professionals, their journey through the profession, their story, how they're doing, or what they're doing to make an impact for the profession. And I think, telling those individual stories for our members as well, and, really making it a real life experience and how AIA fits into that, has really helped us as well. That's been a really successful series for us.
Those can be really powerful. Kevin, as you think about AIA, it's a really meaningful organization that's made a really large impact on architecture. And I'm wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about the importance of membership in that. Does it factor into your organizational strategy? Is it really core to the DNA of AIA?
I would say it's evolving. And so, membership, of course, is the main entry point into AIA. But, just like with a lot of other associations, there are a lot of opportunities for non-members to be set up, and really make sure that everyone that engages with AIA is indeed a member. We have these 21 knowledge communities that are kind of like mini AIAs, and so really trying our best to change some of those efforts, make sure that all of those folks are indeed members. But I would say membership of course, is a core strategy of what we're doing here. One, it makes up 40 to 45% of our operating revenue, which of course is significant. Um, Over the last 2 years, we've tried to really better define for our staff and for our chapters and for indeed our our own members, who the different audiences or the different segments of of um, of membership are as well. I think for years we've been thinking of members, somewhat in a general sense. And so by breaking that down and really identifying the needs of each segment, it's really helped our staff, with programs. It's better helped our chapters understand the different segments as well. But it's helped us, individualize a message as well around membership.
You talked a little bit about the changing nature of membership at AIA, that originally, or at least a couple of years ago, it was really focused on that designation, and you've
Hmm.
begun to thought about it a little broader and make some changes to really drive home that value proposition, just even beyond that designation, which is so important. I'm wondering if you could marry that idea with the segmentation idea. Have you found um, the need to serve any of those core segments in really custom or tailored ways to make sure they're really valued and are feeling the benefit of membership?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're currently working on as well. So one of those segments are allied professions. So one of the, great things about architects is, they have so much talent. They design these great buildings, these great spaces that all of us encounter each and every day. Um, they lead that, but it takes a team of folks, to really put all of that together. You can build a beautiful space, but you also want it to have beautiful interiors. You want it to have beautiful landscape. And so, it takes a lot of different allied professions in the built environment to bring the space to fruition. And so, as part of AIA's strategic plan, we really want to be the core. We really want to be that big tent organization for the built environment. And so, one of the segments that we're currently building out is that allied professional segment. And so, how do we speak to these allied professions? How do we make sure that AIA is the Big Ten organization where those ideas come together, where they form, and where real progress happens as well? And so, that's been part of our work. But when I think of our core segment, which of course is architect, we've broken that down too into sub segments, um, into firm owners and to different segments of the architect to make sure that we're speaking more articulately to each of those segments or each of those sub segments as well. Again, that's helped us better refine all of our messaging. That's even helped us with some of our education design as well, understanding, that there are sub segments and that they do have different needs. They're attending our events, engaging in our programs for indeed different reasons, and we should be smart and plan ahead and serve all of those reasons as well.
That's great. And one of the things I love about what you just said, and I heard in that answer was even when you were talking about the opportunity to serve the allied professions, you were really mission focused in that. It was about we have a laser focus on that mission for the built environment, and we recognize to bring that to make as great of an impact as we can, we need to involve these folks. And it wasn't just for the sake of membership, and that's real alignment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kevin, what have you found in the way of what works for creating community and connection among your members? You mentioned chapters a little bit earlier. I imagine that is probably a core part of it, but would love to hear your thoughts on how you bring people together.
Yeah, I'll talk about that from a few different angles. One are chapters. As I mentioned, we have 205 chapters who really are the core of who AIA is and what AIA does. Most of our members, currently we're at 98,000, soon to be 100,000 by the end of this year. most of those members interact with those chapters. And so that experience lives there. And so, one of the things that we're really trying to do is to make sure that those chapters are well positioned to serve all of those members, and really trying to make sure that we're communicating clearly with those chapters and with members as well, and making sure that we're not creating too much confusion. And so because we don't want confusion to stand in the way of actually building community, or for folks identifying what each tier or each level of the AIA does. And so, our chapters are essential in that effort. I mentioned earlier those knowledge communities. Those are 21 mini AIAs that are focused on a variety of practice areas. And, those are really strong. Those are really strong communities, with a strong bond because of those practice areas. And so, really trying to lean in there to make sure that we have a good content strategy. Those knowledge communities, they create so much content. They have conferences, they have events, they have their own education platforms. And so we're really trying to think differently about how we curate content, and how we distribute that content across the membership as well. And so really trying to build better community there, and trying to make sure that we identify the intersections as well with each one of those knowledge communities as well. Lastly, one of the things that we are redeploying here is our online community, um, um, or our online community efforts. And so for years, our online community efforts have really supported those 21 knowledge communities as just, a tool for those communities to engage and interact with one another. And we really haven't taken that further to build subsets of communities of those knowledge communities, or new communities that support the membership as a whole. And so, in just a few weeks here, we're about to deploy a new community networking site that will allow us to be a bit more organic in how we have members interact over, common topics, common characteristics, and really trying to bolster that up as well. Architects really love to share ideas, and they love to network. And so we want to make sure that, our digital space as well. We're doing that at all of our in-person events, but really trying to make sure that we do that online as well.
That's fantastic. I have to say it sounds like an exciting place to be a member because you've identified all of these ways of finding yourself if you're an architect and participating with a group that wants to participate in that same way. And
Hmm.
that to me is it's what it's all about. Kevin, I have one final question for you. What are your words of wisdom for the heads of membership out there? What key learning or piece of advice would you offer others in your seat?
Yeah, one of the things that has somewhat become a mantra within AIA is this member obsession. And so we have really tried our best to think through this member obsessed lens in everything that we do, and making sure that, it's easy to transact with us. It's easy to communicate with us. We make it easy to communicate with all of the members as well. And so, I think, thinking through that type of lens, and, creating those delighting member experiences has really helped us just be better stewards, and also be better providers as well. And so, that has really taken off within the AIA, within all teams, not just the membership team. And the second thing I would say, and this is something that we're currently still working on, and I don't think, you're ever perfect with this, is really ensuring that, all of our teams, all of our staff, from finance to facilities to HR to membership to chapters, finance, or all of the departments, that they understand that membership is everyone's job, right? We all work at the AIA to serve our 98,000 members. And, we're trying to change that mindset as well. And I already see the fruits of that mindset shift in just everything that we do. And, ensuring that we're creating just great experiences and that we're providing the best member service that we can.
Yeah, I love it. I think your two words of wisdom there, your two pieces of advice are both really about the culture of the organization, and that's where it starts, if I'm hearing you, and that's wonderful. Okay, Kevin, thank you so much for your insights. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.